Today I'm going to make this viral feta pasta bake that's on TikTok. I'm going to make it vegan. I have seen it done vegan a couple of times, and they've used the Violife feta cheese. I found a different one that I'm going to try. I'm going to change it slightly and see how it is. It's super easy, so why not? So I'm really excited. Let me show you how to make it. Okay, so here are the ingredients. We're going to start with a block of feta, and I'm going to use this Nafiska's Garden Feta vegan cheese. I've never tried it before, but I'm kind of excited to try it. Some garlic, 2 pints of cherry tomatoes. I've already washed and dried these. Some chili flakes, Italian seasoning, basil. I tried to buy fresh basil at the store, but for some reason they were out. Do not know why. Some pepper, a good quality olive oil. I'm going to add a little balsamic vinegar. That's not in the traditional recipe. I just feel like doing it. A nice pasta, one that will hold the sauce, Rigati, I think it's called, and some salt. Now, don't add salt until the very end. Feta tends to be salty. I have no idea if this is salty, but I'm assuming they've made it salty so that it tastes the same. That's all the ingredients you need. You need a baking dish and obviously a pot to boil your pasta, but that's it. So let's assemble. We're using 6 garlic cloves, by the way. And I really like the idea of trying out some recipes that I've seen online. I'm not pretending that I invented this. I just want to see if I can make it vegan. Whoop! And see how it turns out. So I'm going to just peel these and add them in whole into the baking dish because they're going to bake with the tomatoes. We kind of want whole garlic cloves for this so that they can roast and get really nice and sweet. But I've seen this recipe so many times, so many different ways done. And after watching probably, I don't know, 30 different TikTok creators make it, and watching a couple of YouTubers who are vegan make it, Rose from Cheap Lazy Vegan made it, and I believe Candace from Edgy Veg also made it. I thought it was time that I gave it a try, just to see how good it is, because everybody raves about it. So that was the hardest part of the whole recipe, believe it or not, was peeling the garlic. We've peeled the garlic. I've put in 7, but 6 to 7 whole cloves. Now these are cherry tomatoes, 2 pints of them, and I've washed them and dried them up a bit. You throw those in there. Can you see that? Make sure you can see that. Oops. Yeah, good. And then you drizzle it with olive oil. And like I said, I think it's definitely worth getting a good quality olive oil here because there's not a lot of ingredients in this recipe, so you want them to be nice and tasty. Okay, so we got the garlic, we got the cherry tomatoes. We're going to put in some Italian seasoning. They don't say in any of the recipes how much to put in, so I'm going to start with a tablespoon just because I know you guys like measurements, but I'm just going to start with a tablespoon. And I'm going to put in some chili flakes. This was something that some creators put in, some didn't, but I kind of love a little bit of chili flakes in my Italian food, so I'm going to add a few. That is definitely optional. Now is when you get your hands dirty. My hands are clean, and I'm just going to toss this all because you definitely want all of the tomatoes to be coated in the oil. And the garlic too. Okay, so once that's done, and again, I wouldn't add salt to this until it's done because traditionally feta is salty, and I would be shocked if this vegan feta wasn't. So we're going to add the block in. It comes in water just like traditional feta does. I don't know if you can see that. So we're going to drain that. And then I'm going to smell it because I'm really curious. Doesn't smell as, as briny and salty as traditional feta does, but again, it's not actual feta. So we're going to set that in the center, and we're going to drizzle it with more olive oil. If you don't eat oil. This is probably not the recipe for you, but again, it calls for more oil, and then a little bit of pepper. That's right, some pepper throughout, and a little bit of basil. Now, the recipes that I saw, some used dried, some used fresh. If it's fresh, you want to add it in after it's cooked, but I could not find fresh basil at my grocery store, and I have no idea why. So I'm just going to put a little bit of fresh dried basil on here, and I'm going to drizzle on a little bit of balsamic vinegar. I think it'll give it a little bit of sweetness and tartness. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this will work, but that's how I'm going to make it. Not a lot. Very little. How do I get this out of here without... Let me just drizzle it over. But just enough, I think. God, I love balsamic vinegar. And that's it. So I have preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and this is going to go in there uncovered for 35 minutes. Make sure that they're nice and roasted, but I think that'll be good. So I'm going to stick it in the oven and we'll see how it goes. So 35 minutes, and at about 10 minutes to go, I'm going to boil my pasta until it is al dente, and then I'll see you back here. Okay, the timer has gone off. It's been 35 minutes. I have boiled my pasta, so let's pull this out and have a look. Oh my God, it smells really good. All right, wow. Let's just have a look at that. Oh my gosh, I wish you could smell it. Now, I've noticed that the same thing happened with this one that has happened with the other ones, the other vegan versions that I've seen. The vegan feta kind of melts, whereas the traditional feta stays more in a block and you have to mash it. But I don't think that that's a problem. So what I'm going to do is just take a fork, or maybe this spoon, and I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to pull out the garlics and I'm going to mash those separately, because I definitely want those mashed up. And they're nice and roasted. Where is there's one. Probably going to miss some. But the tomatoes are really nice and soft. And this smells amazing, guys. Really, seriously, it smells so good. So I'm just going to mash up the garlic a little bit. And then I'm going to stir it back in. And we're going to mix in the pasta. And we're going to see how it is. Hopefully it's good. Everybody raves about it, so I'm sure it is. Very, very, very good. Wow. So we'll mix this together first, and then I'll put the pasta in. Now, I did boil 1 pound of pasta, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use it all, but the problem with TikTok videos is there's never any actual measurements in there. So you kind of have to eyeball it. But I noticed that most pasta recipes use 1 pound of pasta, which is about 500 grams-ish. So let's put this in, see how much we want to use. Oh my gosh, this really, really smells good. Wow. That is so good. And when I just licked the fork there, it is definitely salty. So you don't want to add any salt, I think, until the very end. And then if you still think you need it saltier, then you can do that. But wow. Wow, that's delicious. That's amazing. Let's see what it tastes like. I want some tomato, some pasta, and just a little bit of garlic. And watch me burn my tongue. Really shouldn't be doing this. I know I'm going to regret it, but in the interests of YouTube, we're going to give this a try. Wow. That is so good. I like it with that little bit of balsamic in there. Obviously, you don't need it. None of the recipes I saw had it. Wow, that is so good. Yes, there's a lot of oil in there. And yes, there's the feta cheese. Is this a health food recipe? Absolutely not. Is it delicious? Oh, yeah. Very good. So, wow, I am really impressed with this. Who knew? Amazing. So good. I really just want to wolf it down, but I am going to wait, be patient, which isn't my strong suit sometimes, and let it cool off a bit before I have it for dinner. I did buy a baguette, so I'm going to have that. And guys, you have to try this recipe. Like I say, leave out the balsamic if you don't like it. I think it really adds a little bit of sweetness to it. That feta cheese worked really well in this. This just makes a beautiful creamy sauce that is delicious. So I hope you try it and let me know if you do. Maybe put some pictures on Instagram and tag me, because this is absolutely delicious. I bet you this would work really well with a vegan cream cheese as well. If you had maybe one that was herb and garlic or something like that, I bet you that would work really well in here. But the tomatoes, oh, and the garlic in there, and even that little bit of chili flakes really makes a difference. So give it a try if you like it. I hope that you subscribe and you come back for more content. Anyways, have a great week, and I will talk to you next time.